Puranas have this pramana that Lord likes to drink the water that has washed the feet of a Brahmana. One can never progress on the path of devotional service or spiritual life by disregarding and deviating from the principles of Varnashrama, Dharma. Ordinary mundane people attached to fruitive activities are unable to understand the purpose, higher purpose of Varnashrama. One should fully respect those Brahmanas situated on the highest platform from the material point of view. Shri Gausundar neither transgressed the ordinary social customs of the time nor totally disregarded the principles of Karmakanda on the pretext of offering oblations to his forefathers. One should not misunderstand by this that Sri Gaur Sundar accepted the path of Karmakanda as the path of spiritual life. Fearing that people may foolishly misunderstand the purport of the scriptures and introduce the process of Karmakanda as the spiritual path, the Jagat Guru Lord enacted the pastime of drinking water that has washed the feet of a Brahmana and offering oblations to his forefathers at Gaya, and thereafter enacted the pastime of accepting spiritual Vaishnava initiation. In the ideal God-conscious moral character of Sri Gaur Sundar, one can find enactment of the following injunction mentioned in Bhagavata, 11th canto, 20th chapter, 9th verse. Tavat karmani kurvita na nirvidyeta avata matkatha shravala dyova yadhayavan jayate. As long as one is not satiated by fruitive activity and has not awakened his taste for devotional service by Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, one has to act according to the regulative principles of the Vedic injunction. Now, this is very important statement. As long as one is not satiated by fruitive activity and has not awakened his taste for devotional service by Shravanam Kirtanam, one has to act according to the rules and regulations given in the Vedic injunction. A person who is constantly guided by this pure spiritual transcendental consideration is described in the Narada Pancharatra as follows. So till now, let us see what has been given. So here, how to progress in spiritual life. First, respect the principles given in the Varnashrama system. Now, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to Gaya to offer oblations to his forefathers. So, still he has followed the principles which has been given. He is showing that even though you are offering oblations to the spiritual, to your forefathers, what has been given in the Varnashrama respecting the Brahmana, that all has to be done. But that doesn't mean that he is encouraging karma kanda. At the same time, he is not transgressing karma kanda. But then he wants to show that the highest is Shravanam Kirtanam. But to reach that even Shravanam Kirtanam, one has to pay obeisances to the principles laid down by the scriptures. Scriptures cannot be crossed. Just on the name of bhakti, we cannot cross the scriptures, whatever has been given, because still we have not reached that highest platform of tasting the holy name. So whatever rules and regulations have been given, we follow that. At the same time, we know the goal of life is to reach Krishna Prema, for which the solution is chanting the holy name of Krishna. So why we are performing the rituals? These rituals purify our consciousness, because still we are not satisfied with the fruitive activity. We want that also. We want to progress in material life also. We have not given up that. If a person has completely given up fruitive life, sarvatmana yah sharanam sharanyam, then he is no more indebted to anyone. As the verse goes, Devar Shibhutattanunam Prittunam Naking Karonayam Runicharajan. Sarvatmanaya Sharanam Sharanyam Gatu Mukundam Bharatta Kartam. We are worried when there is a disturbance in the family, like somebody has lost the job, somebody is sick, somebody is not studying properly, somebody is back answering. husband-wife relationship is not good, then there is a worry. Then some elderly people are sick. Then there is a worry, because yet we have not crossed that stage of not worry. So that is why karmakanda rituals, which has been prescribed for those who are a sadhaka, who have yet not reached that stage of prema, this will purify their consciousness by respecting the Brahmana. So that is why Jagat Guru Chaitanya Mahaprabhu shows us this example, that he has also not transgressed the principles which has been given. But for the purpose he has appeared, that is going to be displayed very soon. So Narada Pancharatra speaks, Laukiki Vaidiki Vapi Ya Kriya Kriyate Mune Hari Seva Anukuvalye Kulaiva Sakarya Bhakti Michhata. One should perform only those activities, either worldly or prescribed by Vedic rules and regulations, which are favorable for the cultivation of Krishna consciousness. Now see how it has been perverted to Krishna consciousness. Yes. What is the purpose of Varnashramam? Bhagavatam speaks about it. Atha pumbir dvijashreshta varnashrama vibhagasha swanishtitasya dharmasya samsiddhir haritoshana. For the satisfaction of Krishna, one is performing Varnashrama. So whatever favorable for cultivation of Krishna consciousness, do that. If one is sick and he wants to get cured, he is performing some rituals. There is no problem in it. It is for cultivating our Krishna consciousness. Sometimes Graha dosha is there. Graha dosha has to be removed because we are not that competent, or our sadhana is not so competent. It's not Harinam is not competent. Harinam is competent, but our sadhana is not competent. I am not so spiritually strong that I can counteract the doshas. But Haridas Thakur, just see, I'm not at the level of Haridas Thakur. Now, Haridas Thakur is such a pure personality that even if he is in the cave where poison of snake is exhaled, but still he is not affected. We are immediately affected when there is some disturbance in the family, or whatever you say. There is a disturbance. So what is done? So graha doshas are removed. There's no problem in removing the graha doshas. If that graha doshas are removed, then one is peacefully settled to practice Krishna consciousness. Now, because of the doshas, a person is not practicing Krishna consciousness. Then what is the use? He's only thinking, I have doshas, I have doshas, I have doshas. But then he has to remove it. That is why the rituals are there. And for removing that, a qualified Brahmana is necessary. Then you will say in Kali Yuga, there is no qualified Brahmana. There are. It's not that there is not. There are very less number of qualified Brahmins. It's not that it is completely zero. They are there. We have to search out. That is why one has to be dependent on Krishna. When he is dependent on Krishna, Krishna finds the solution for that also. Like you have stomach disorder, then you have to go to doctor. You cannot just say, I'll chant the holy name and be peaceful. You can do that also. If that complete faith is there, that even if I'm beaten in 22 streets, I will not give up chanting the holy name. So these diseases are like beating up. Now 22 streets when Haridas Thakur was beaten, he was not feeling any pain because he was so absorbed in chanting the holy name. That is Krishna consciousness at the highest level. That is self-realization at the highest level. But when I become sick, I cannot even chant. So that is why such doshas are removed. When a living entity thinks that obtaining physical and mental happiness is a goal of life, then the waves of temporary mundane thoughts never leave him. No, that is not the goal of life. Attaining physical and mental happiness is not the goal of life. The goal of life is to attain Krishna Prema. For that, whatever disturbances in physical and mental state is there, we are removing. And in course of time, his propensity for pious and impious activities based on Varnashrama gradually transforms into the propensity for prohibited sinful activities. Now see, when a person commits sin, when he thinks physical and mental happiness is the goal of life. As soon as a living entity develops faith in topics related to the Lord, he realizes in his service, inclined heart, that taking unalloyed shelter at the lotus feet of Caitanya is the only criteria for obtaining supreme maternal auspiciousness. So this is the highest goal of life, to be sheltered by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to take shelter of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In Chaitanya Chaitamrita Madhya 22.93, it is stated, Eta Saba Chadi Ara Varnashrama Dharma Akinchanahana Laya Krishnaika Sharana. Without hesitation, one should give up. One should take up the exclusive shelter of Krishna, Lord Krishna, with full confidence, giving up bad association, and even neglecting the regulatory principles of 4 varnas and 4 ashramas. That is to say, one should abandon all material attachment. So that is the highest perfection. So the highest perfection is give up all the regulatory principles of varna and ashrama. See now, you will feel something contradictory here. In the previous, what has been told? Perform. If it is favorable for the cultivation of Krishna consciousness. And when one reaches that stage, highest stage, he can even give up that all things. Initially, you have to take it up and slowly, slowly give it up, because your chanting and the faith in chanting and in Krishna consciousness has increased to such an extent. When one is situated on such an exalted Paramahamsa Vaishnava stage, now see, this is the stage of Paramahamsa, exalted stage, then such a liberated soul no longer needs to go to Gaya and offer oblations to his forefathers or drink the water that has washed the feet of a Brahmana. If you have reached that stage, then don't go to Gaya. Don't drink Padudakaha, Vipraha. You don't have to do all these things. But provided you have given up everything for Krishna, you're continuously chanting the holy name. I don't chant also. I am affected by all the diseases, all mental miseries. I don't want to do anything which has been recommended as a remedy. Then how am I going to progress in devotion service? In the Amala Pramana, the spotless Vedic authority, Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated. No, Amala Pramana, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says five opinions Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gives. Aradhya Bhagavan, Brigeshataniya, Stadhama Vrindavanam, Ramyakachidupasana Varavadhu, Vargena Vakalpita, Srimad Bhagavatam Pramana Mamalam, Prema Pamartho Mahan. Sri Chaitanya Matamidam Tatra Adraha Napara. So this is the highest. There are 5 highest truth or the opinions which has been given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Bhagavan is Vrajeshataniya. He has not even mentioned Krishna. He says Vraje Ishahataniya. But there are so many people they may keep their name as Krishna. There was Poundrik Krishna at that when Krishna is displaying his pastime. He used to call himself as Krishna. So Vraja Isha is Nanda Baba. Vraja Isha Taneha. Even Nanda Baba has not been told directly. Vraja Isha. Somebody can keep his name Nanda and keep his son's name as Krishna. But are you Vraja Isha? Ask him. Are you the controller or the caretaker of Vrajabhumi, or the controller of the Vrajabhumi? Isha means controller. So he is the Lord. Bhagavan is the Lord. Who is the Lord? Who is Bhagavan? Krishna is Bhagavan. Who is Krishna? Nanda's son. Who is Nanda Baba? Vraja Isha. In this way, Ramya Kachi Vargena Aradhya Bhagavan Bhajeshatane Tadhama Vrindavanam. What is his home? His home is Vrindavanam. Who are the highest devotees? The gopis. Ramya Kachi Vajavadu Vargena Vakalpita. The highest are the gopis of Vrindavan. Bhagavatam is Amala Purana. There is no mala in it. There is no contamination. Everything is spotless. You cannot find any spot, any mistake, any flaw. Prema Pamartho Mahan. The highest goal is to attain Krishna Prema. That is done. If that is given, if that is attained, understand, that is self-realization. To attain Krishna Prema. And for that, Sevon Mukhahi Jivadhu, Swayameva Spurtiyadha. It's up to Krishna to reveal that. And Krishna reveals to one who is completely attached to the service of Lord. Now Bhagavatam speaks Agyayaivam gunan doshan maya dishtan api swakan dharman santyajya yah sarvan mam bhajeta satu sattamah. Such a person perfectly understands that the ordinary religious duties prescribed by me in various Vedic scriptures possess favorable qualities that purify the performer. And he knows that neglect of such duties constitutes a discrepancy in one's life. One has to perform the prescribed duties which is given. After that, after having taken shelter at my lotus feet, however, a saintly person ultimately renounces even such ordinary religious duties and worship me alone. He is thus considered to be the best among all the living entities, and that is what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Sarvadharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja Aham Tvam Sarpapebhyo Mukshishyami Ma Shuchah. Slowly, slowly, one has to develop this consciousness that Krishna is there to protect us in all circumstances. For that, faith in the holy name, chanting the holy name is very important. Without that, any other process will not lead us to this complete conviction that Krishna is there to protect me in all circumstances. Abandon all varieties of religion and surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. If one discusses the above two verses, then he will gradually become indifferent to worldly activities and the search for impersonal Brahman. So this is also a contamination. One is worldly activities is a contamination, and search for impersonal Brahman is also a contamination. So he becomes indifferent to both of this. Although the Lord is a maintainer of everyone, the protector of Sanatana Dharma and the knower of religious principles, he exhibited the pastime of following the principles of an inferior platform in order to eternally benefit the living entities. So Krishna shows, Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita, Yadada achariti shreshtas tattadevetaro janah sayat pramanam kurti lokas tadanu vartate. For Krishna, actually, there is no duty. But still, Krishna performs. In third chapter, if you see, Krishna performs just for showing the people in general. So one should not misunderstand, however, that the spiritual progress of the living entity is dependent simply on such inferior conceptions or niyamagraha, simply by imitating without effect. From the spiritual point of view, the gradual development of progression on the devotional path has been properly described by Sri Ramananda Rai, who is a Mahabhagavat spiritual master of the Paramahamsa, while replying to Gaur Sundar's inquiry. Now, Gaur Sundar is asking Ramananda Rai, what is the highest goal of life? Then Ramananda Rai starts, Varanashrama acharataha purushena parapuman Vishnu aragate panta nanyat tattoshakaram. Just to follow Varanashrama system. Varanashrama acharataha purushena parapuman. So Puman means a human should perform Varnashrama system. This is the highest goal of life. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Hey hoy bhai, this is only a bhaya. It's external. Varnashrama is dependent on the body which you have got, the birth which you have got. So this is bhaya. Aage kaho. Tell more about it. What is the goal of life? Then he says, Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vrajaham tvam sarvapebhya mokshashyami ma shucham. There also Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, this is also bhaya. Sarvadharman parityajya. You will give up whatever you have got. So this is also bhaya. Still go on, go further. Yat karoshi yadashnashi yat juhoshi dadasi yat tapasyasi konte tat purushva madarpan. Whatever you eat, whatever you give in charity, give it to Krishna. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, this is also bhaya. You consider something as yours, that is why you are trying to give it. This is also bhaya. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, go further. Varnashrama. So it started with Varnashrama Achrutaha Purushena Parapuman Vishnu Aradite Pantanani Tatosha Karanam Yat Karoshi Dashnashi Juhoshi Dadasi Etapasasi Konte Tatkurusham Samarpanam Sarvadharman Parityaja Mamekam Sharanam Vraja Ham Tvam Sarpape Vimoksheshami Mahashuchaha. Then he says, Brahmabhuta Prasannatma Nashochati Nakangshati Sama Sarveshu Bhuteshu Madbhaktim Labate Param. Here, Brahmabhuta Prasannatma Nashochati Kangshati. Okay, he's considering about himself, that I just want to be peaceful. What I have to do with others' unhappiness, what I have to do with others' misery, let them go wherever they want to go. If somebody wants to go to hell, let them go. I'm just about thinking about myself. I just want to be at peace. Then that is also not accepted by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He says this is also bhai. This is not the goal of life. Then he says, tell further, what is the goal of life? Then from Brahma's prayers, Ramananda says, Jnane prayasam mudapasanamantiyeva jivanti sanmukharitam bhavadiyavartam sthane sita shutigatam tanuan manobhed ye prayaso jito jitopi asitristi lokyam. Jnane prayasam mudapasanamantiyeva. Why so much? Why to just waste our time in acquiring some knowledge? It is like beating the husk without the grains. Without bhakti, what type of knowledge can be attained? It is like beating the husk without grains. So, jivanti sanmukharitam bhavadiyavartam. So, here from a realized soul, sanmukharitam, hear from a devotee about the leelas of Krishna. That should be the goal of life. Sthane sita shutikatam. Wherever you are, be there. You don't have to give up anything. You don't have to become a sannyasi for it. In whatever condition of life Krishna has kept you, just be there and hear about Krishna, and that is nectar. Just hear about Krishna. Krishna's pastimes are nectar. One who comes in the sampradaya, just hear from him. Sthane sita shutigatam tanuan manobhir ye prayaso jito ajitopi asitristi lokyam. Then that ajitaha, that Krishna, who is ajita, who cannot be conquered, is conquered by the devotee because he loves to hear about Krishna. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, hey hoy, this is, go further. Still, I want to hear more. This is the thing. Yes. In this life, one has to seek the shelter of the spiritual master and just hear about the leelas of Krishna. Then the next verse, where very clearly it said, Jnane priyasam, now Jnane priyasam, this verse is there. Jnane priyasam udapasanamanti eva jivanti sanmukaritam bhavadiya vartam. Sthane sita shutikatam tanuan manobir ye prayasu jito ajitopi astre lokyam. Krishna bhakti rasa bhavitamati kriyatam yadi kutopi labhyate tatra laulyam api mulyam ekalam janma koti shukatena labhyate. Krishna bhakti rasa bhavitamati. Now when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is accepted sanmukharitam, immediately Ramananda Rai says, Krishna bhakti rasa bhavitamati kriyatam yadi kutopi labhyate. Yes, Krishna bhakti has to be done. And for that, what is the purchasing power? Laulyam, greed for hearing more and more. Tatra laulyam api mulyam ekalam. That is the only mulya you can give to purchase Krishna consciousness. The more eagerness to serve, the more eagerness to have association of devotees. That eagerness is the only remedy to progress in devotional life. And that is the only goal of life. The goal of life is to have that laulyam, that greed, to attain Krishna prema. So in this way, the Bhagavad Gita instructed to Arjuna by Lord Gaur Sundar in his pastimes, as Krishna also teaches Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga to conditioned souls situated within Apara Prakriti, material nature, after carefully considering their respective consciousness. And after fully rejecting their behavior, it establishes the supremely pure religion of devotional life as the topmost means of achieving the goal. In Bhagavad Gita, if you see step by step, Krishna teaches Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, so that a person who is actually Apara Shakti of Krishna, but what happened? He's situated in the Apara Shakti, But he is a Parashakti. Parashakti means one who has consciousness. Living entity is a Parashakti. But situated in Aparashakti, he has multiple desires. So slowly, first one has to purify the desires. After hearing this most confidential instruction, narrow-minded persons consider engagement in devotional service and engagement in sinful activities based on their narrow-mindedness are equal. Although such considerations are full of ignorance and suitable for unsuccessful yogis, those who have strong material conceptions or those who make the mistake of considering transcendental subject matter through their material faculties and thus consider transcendental subjects a product of the material world should consider their own narrow-mindedness and forgive the devotees according to Bhagavad Gita, so as not to disrupt the minds of ignorant men attached to the fruitive results of prescribed duties. A learned person should not induce them to stop work. So there are people who like to criticize the fruitive activity. At the same time, they consider even the service in devotional service also to be similar to fruitive activities. Yesterday I was talking to somebody who was telling that even this is also, the service to Vigraha is also one of the attachment. So this is the only attachment we should have. No, this is not the way for self-realization. I said, this is the only way for self-realization. Krishna consciousness, work in Krishna consciousness is the only means to attain self-realization. Not that you give up your duties and your responsibilities and just try to think about yourself and go to some secluded place and do something which is prescribed by some non-sampradaya gurus. So whatever Srila Prabhupada has told to us and given us the path, it is the only path. When Srila Prabhupada says apply Urdhva Pundram, we should listen, simple. We just have to listen that we have to apply Urdhva Pundram. No, this is all external. Let it be. Whatever our acharyas have told, we should do that. Put kanthi, we should do that. I don't put kanthi. So what? We have to put whatever our Rupa Goswami, Jiva Goswami, our acharyas have told to us, we should put that. We should do. Rules and regulations just cannot be given up. Though a person may be transcendently beyond these rules and regulations, still they do to show others. Why Srila Prabhupada put kanthi? Is Srila Prabhupada not a self-realized person? Just to show that I don't follow the rules and regulations, that means I'm something above, that is actually a pretender. That person is actually a pretender. Mithyachari. Srila Prabhupada writes, who is a mithyachari? Who tries to pretend and do a show off of being a very exalted devotee. Now I don't follow all these things. This is all imbibed in me. Then the question arises, is it not imbibed in Ramanujacharya? Is it not imbibed in Madhvacharya? Why did they apply Urdhva Pundram? Why did they follow the rules and regulations? Why Srila Prabhupada has to wake up in the morning and do the Mangalarti? Prabhupada's sleeping hours were just 2 hours, but still Prabhupada showed it to the people in general. So what happens is the ignorant people, their mind is disturbed when they see such violence in performing the devotion, the following the rules and regulations. Though a person may be exalted, very exalted, he may be self-realized also, but still we cannot give up the prescribed rules and regulations which has been given by our acharyas if we have to show the general people. So here we'll stop. Any questions you can ask. Any questions? No questions. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण माता जी, दंडवत प्रणाम।